While I'm keeping an eye on every player, Wiser controls every room.
Rob, you said after the game last weekend that was much more like the Exeter Chiefs coming back into fine fettle. When you've reviewed Glasgow now, that was a pretty good performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think the reason for it was because I think some people just think, Glasgow were in the lead with about half an hour left, but I think what people need to remember is traditionally when we've had what you describe as good wins and sometimes big wins in the Premiership, there's not many of them have been anything other than tight at half time or even us behind. But it's your 80 minutes, and what was really good for us is what we put into the first 20 minutes is probably what won us the last half hour. And I know people will go, well, how can you say like that? There's tries of this. But actually our physical performance up to 20 minutes was actually at a level beyond our average for this season. And so actually it's actually pretty hard for any team to keep stopping that or stay in front of that for extended periods. And that's what I mean. I'm seeing us challenge teams enough in all areas of the game that they actually get to a stage where the wall breaks. I think that's what happened a little bit with Glasgow. And I know they had a couple of injuries, they had a couple of reshuffles, but we all go through that during games. But I think what we did is we created a performance we were really pleased with, and that was of a level that takes some stopping. And we didn't create that game away at Glasgow, and they did. They created the game that we didn't stop in the end. We didn't create that. But I think at home we created that game that took some stopping, and eventually that means you get the rewards.
It's put you within touching distance of qualification now, but the job is still to do in Montpellier this weekend.
I think the big thing for us is to stay on that upward performance cycle. I mean, obviously we want to try and get as much as we can because there are some benefits to moving up the pool. Whether we can end up so far up the pool that things like home quarterfinals, if we get through the home and away 16 count, they're within reach, but again, it's just mathematically possible. But at the same time, I think it's staying on that upward curve that's really important for us. The round of six, we want to qualify obviously, but we want to kind of feel good about how we qualify as well. And the one thing that's clear, and I've just said it, is that I've never seen a frontline team in any competition in any country not respond to what happened to them last week. Now, there's all kinds of reasons it happened, the rules and regulations and where we are with COVID and front row injuries, all sorts of stuff have made it very difficult for Montpellier. But that doesn't mean they won't react to it. I've never seen a team not react, and that in some ways is probably a bit more concerning than if Montpellier had gone there and won, because you know what happens. You know that we've had a good win, we feel quite good about ourselves. They've had a bad loss and they'll feel quite bad about themselves, and those two things don't often really go together. One team takes a big strong reaction and one team can often draw breath, and we've got to make sure we don't draw breath and that we go there and we see it as a flat out one-off Heineken Cup game that can give us some great rewards.
There is that old myth that the French don't travel so well, but notoriously at home, and we've seen it many times over the years, they are strong at home. Yeah,
well, we've never gone to France and we've won some good games in France, and we've lost heavily in France, over the years. So, and I've never seen a team. We've never had a tough performance. So that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting it to be an absolute blood and thunder game. If we prepare for that and we get our heads around it, we give ourselves a chance. But if we go over there and think, we could play 80 minutes of nice rugby and eventually tries will come, then we'll probably get a bit of a rude awakening.
You've talked about your team being on an upward curve and players' performances rising by the week. That's been underlined this week with the amount of boys called up for Six Nations. How pleased are you with the 9 lads that have been called up?
Well, obviously delighted for them. I mean, I'll be fair. I had an anticipation of most of them going, but I wasn't quite sure what would happen with Jack. But great to see him back in and thoroughly deserved on the form he's been playing. Not just in the games, but the way he's had pre-season he's had, and then the way he's played for us, and the way he's helped kind of knit some areas of our game together. Obviously, great for Chris to maintain his involvement after picking up his cap last year, and obviously the Scottish lads, we were anticipating them being away. Hoggy and Johnny have been mainstays, and Sam Skinner's been kind of been there and been out sometimes and been there. But I actually kind of thought, if anybody was going to play in a game and pin down their selection, it was the way Sam Skinner played against Glasgow. He was very, very good. He pretty much, his line-out calling, the set piece functioning for us, work around the field, that is putting down a marker, to a group of other Scottish internationals that you're ready to go. So, it's ended up being the full group we expected to be away, and that's great for us as a club. And as I said, it creates other opportunities and excitement in a different way for this Six Nations period. Because I'm really hoping that the guys who are here and not involved in Six Nations get really excited about this group of games now coming up, because this is the group of games that's going to decide our future in the league this year. We come out of it well, we give ourselves every shot of pushing on through. But we could come out of it out of touch, and we've got to decide which way we want it to go.
Team news for the weekend, you're looking pretty good still?
Yeah, it looks strong. Like other times, we picked up some bumps and bruises at the weekend, but not too much beyond that. We haven't got any long-term injuries back available, but on the whole, it's going to be a strong team, and it's certainly a team that we expect to go very well, because it has been in the last few weeks.